December 2024 had some great gacha releases. Girls Frontline 2, which has become one of my favorite gacha games at present. Infinity Nikki, which has become my wife Mrs. Stix's, or one of her favorite gacha games at present. January 2025 looks like it is going to be a banger year. Before we go ahead and address all the gacha releasing and shutting down within January, however, I want to take a moment here and urge you to go ahead and subscribe to my Stix Plays channel. I cover every single upcoming gacha game. I review them in a dedicated, easily digestible format, and I cover older gacha games. I'm going through everything one game at a time every week. If you have the time, subscribe, binge watch the videos. It'll help them get recommended in the algorithm. Otherwise, let's just go ahead and jump right in because we have a packed month to look forward to. Let's start this off with Windbreaker. This is a gacha game I'd never heard of until just a few days ago when I covered it as part of my weekly gacha recap series. It is apparently based on an already pre-existing intellectual property. It is launching onto Steam, onto Windows, Android, iOS. Is going to be a free-to-play gacha game scheduled for March 12, 2025. The reason we're talking about it right now is because pre-registration for the game is currently open. We're beginning this with pre-registration, so if you haven't already and you're interested in playing the game, now is the time to pre-register. Stella Sora is a gacha game that I actually did a dedicated video on. I was sponsored actually to do a dedicated video on this. It was an incredibly interesting looking gacha game that I am really excited for. It is a top-down isometric third-person action game. They announced over on Twitter that pre-registration is currently open and available. If you're interested, navigating on over to the website, you see there are already 400,000 players that have pre-registered. The game itself has some absolutely, if I can manage to scroll down successfully, some absolutely incredible looking characters. The gameplay itself, as noted, looked very fun. I'm really excited for this. I believe they're going to be holding a test phase very soon, so keep an eye on not only this channel, but their social media channels as well. Project Net is a Girls Frontline spinoff done by a completely separate studio called, I believe it was Hecate Studio. They are different to Mika, who developed Girls Frontline and Girls Frontline 2. They are going to be holding a beta test, or a technical test, a test of some sort. They're calling it the Warp Jump Test. This game is a third-person shooter, kind of like Snowbreak, I guess would be the best comparison you can make. Now, I did a dedicated video on this. If you're interested in checking that out, I am very excited because I love Girls Frontline 2. They have shown a comparison between mobile and PC. This right here looks very different to what I saw in the initial trailer, which seemed to be released on mobile. So I'm really curious to see this test phase in action and an updated gameplay video released on the game. They do have a dedicated website open, but there's nothing on it at present. Black Beacon might be one of the gacha games I'm currently most excited for. They announced that they're going to be holding a global test on the 8th of January 2025, and I am being sponsored to stream it. Yeah, if you haven't already, then prepare your booty hole, because I'm going to be streaming this several days in a row. I'm going to be tackling every aspect of the game, or attempting to, and then doing a dedicated video on it as well. I already have a dedicated video going over everything that this game is, its combat style, all of its characters, everything we know about it at present that I urge you to watch if you have not already. Additionally, they do have a website open with pre-registration open and available for those of you that are interested. They also have what is arguably some of the coolest looking characters in, I think, a game of its kind. I go over all of these characters in my video. Again, I urge you, go ahead and check that video out. Before we go any further, let me take a moment here to thank my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are phenomenal, and I can't thank you all enough for the support. Now let's keep talking. Etheria Restart announced that they are going to be holding another test phase beginning January 9th, running through January 20th. This is for Android, iOS, PC. It's going to be fully cross-platform compatible. The test that I participated in last, I actually did a dedicated video on as well. This was a really good game. This was probably one of the most polished test phases that I had ever participated in. Like, I think I said that this was one of the highest quality tests that I had ever done, period, in my video. And that is true, because goddamn, if this was not a a phenomenal beta. This is a turn-based gacha that has a segregated world, but that was just so fluid and flawlessly executed. They also have a website that is open with pre-registration available for those of you that are interested. Wangyu is an open world action urban fantasy gacha that is kind of like Ananta if Ananta were a cross between Genshin and Pal World or Pokemon or Tears of the Kingdom, even, because that is essentially what this is, an amalgamation of all those different games. I did a dedicated video on this where I titled it Ananta meets Genshin and Pal World. This game looks fantastic. It has had significant improvements since the first footage that was released on it. The combat looks great. The interesting like demonic monsters look great. You can hijack cars, you can attack people out in the streets. Like, when we saw Neverness, we saw how limited it felt, how safe the game was. That is not the case with this. This is, you can do everything. Like, anything you can imagine, you can do. Literally, they stole a freaking taxi. Like, this is great. And then the best part about it, you can actually just like find things out in the street, monsters, pieces of, you know, structures, and then just kind of put them together to construct a vehicle, like an aerial vehicle, something you can just drive around, you know, a military, like an armed military vehicle that you can shoot monsters with, like you can shoot fireballs out of and missiles out of. It is really freaking cool. You can pre-register for it right now if you want to. There are currently 2.6 million other players that already have. Now we're gonna talk about the gacha games that are shutting down. Cinderella 9 officially shut down as of December 17th, 2024. The Evil Prince and the Puppet announced that they were going to be shutting down on the 31st of January 2025. Muv-Luv Dimensions announced that they are going to be terminating their service on June 30th, 2025. I mean, that's a whole 6 months away, so you still have 6 months to play it if you want to. Overfield announced that they are shutting down on February 17th, 2025 as well. That's 4 different gacha games that I'll announce are shutting down in literally the last 2 weeks. But hey, if January is showing us anything, it's that we have a ton of exciting new games to take their place. Now, hopefully you're up to date with everything coming out in the month of January, or that is going to be playable at least in some form in January. I think I missed like 1 or 2, but for the life of me, I just can't remember what they are. Hey you, where do you think you're going? Don't you close out of this tab. I didn't give you permission to do that. Sit your ass back down. Click one of the 2 videos that are gonna be on screen in just a moment and keep watching my content. Keep enjoying my content.